All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Anthony Smoak. Go ahead and check me out on anthonysmoak.com. Definitely hit subscribe here on YouTube. Go ahead and ring that bell so you get a notification every time I drop a new video. And definitely give me a like if you learned something new. So today, I'm in Python using Jupyter Notebooks here. This is a continuation of my previous video where I showed you how to make a bar chart using Matplotlib, using Pandas in Python. So this is a continuation. I'm going to show you how to create a subplot so you can stuff in additional visualizations in your canvas, so to speak. So I've got number of blocks and number of assists by NBA team in the 2018-2019 season. You can see Golden State led the league in blocks, and they also led the league in assists during the season. So apparently they're pretty good. So let's get into this. I got Jupyter Notebooks open. And again, I've gone over this code in my previous video, but we're going to start with some pre-existing code here. So these are my libraries using Pandas, Matplotlib. That's our visualization library, using PyPlot, which is an extension of Matplotlib, and OS for operating system functions here. I'm just going to hit Shift-Enter and run that, and then I'm just setting my working directory. You can see I've got os.change directory and then my directory. And so if I were to run this here, you can see my current directory is what I set it to be here. So right here, I'm reading into a data frame using pandas.readcsv method here. So I put in the name of the file, right? And this index column equal 1, this is the column where I store my team names. So I want my team names to be my index, and that's going to help me when I plot the x-axis on my on one of my visualizations, right? So I'm going to show you what the first 5 rows look like in that data set. So you can see I've got a team here, and then we have various other statistics. And so again, by putting index column equal 1, if I bring this up really quick and just show you what the data set looks like, you can see team isn't the first column. It's 0. This is the 0 column, and then this is column 1. But technically, rank is the first column. So by putting that index column equal 1, I'm setting my index to the team name, right? So there we go. There are our stats. So now the first thing we're going to do, I want to make a copy of my data frame because I want it sorted by blocks, right? So if you take a look at this, I'm making a variable here, data frame 1 is equal to the data frame in which I imported my CSV. We're using the sort values method, so we're going to sort by blocks, and I'm going to say ascending equal false because I want a descending sort, right? I want the most blocks furthest to the left, so to speak. So I can just copy this. I'm going to make another because we're going to make 2 visualizations here, 2 bar charts. This is going to be data frame 2. I'm going to sort by assists. All right, there we go. So now what I need to do is I'm going to define my figure. And again, the figure is like your canvas. So figure is equal to plt.figure. And my size, fig size, is equal to 20 by 5. So this is 20 inches wide, 5 inches high, right? So that's going to be our canvas where we're going to stuff 2 visualizations into. So now if we go down here, now we need to define our axes. And so axes think of axes as like a full visualization. Don't think of it just as an x-axis or a y-axis. It's a full visualization that you can customize. So our first visualization, say ax1 is equal to fig.add subplot. So this is key, right? We didn't have this in our first video. So I'm going to add subplot 1, 2, 1. So what this means, and I don't need the commas, but I'm just putting it in there because it looks good. What this means is I'm going to build a 1x2 grid, right? And then I want this viz or this axis to be in the first position, right? So now we want a second, right? We're going to have a 2 visualizations. So this is going to be the same thing. Actually, I'm just going to copy this right here. I'll just copy this. And this is going to be 1, 2, 2, right? I still want that 1x2 grid, but this is going to be in the second position, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start customizing the first axes here. This is going to be our blocks, right? So we can say ax1.bar is dataframe 1, dataframe1.index, and dataframe 1 BLK. So what I'm saying here is we're going to create a bar chart, and our x-axis is going to be our team names, right? They're going to show along the bottom, and then the height in that bar chart is going to be the blocks column in our data set, right? So now this is just formatting. I can say ax1.set x tick labels, right? Dataframe 1.index. Again, our team names are going to be on the x-axis, and I want to rotate those team names. Rotation equal 60, and horizontal alignment, if I can spell, horizontal alignment, making sure that's right, is equal to right, and then font size equal 12, right? Okay, so now I want to set the title, right? ax1.set, set title, and let's call this number of blocks by NBA team 2018-2019, and let's make the font size 22. Okay, and then last but not least, let's go ax1.set y label, and we want to show blocks. Blocks. Now, if I type this correctly, plt.show. All right, before I run this, I can see that I got a typo here, dataframe 1. Okay, so now let's try this. And there you can see we have the number of blocks by NBA team here. I have all of my my teams down here along the bottom, and you can see the number of blocks here. Great. So now all I have to do is duplicate this for AX2, and then I'm just going to copy this. And instead of for blocks, it's going to be for assists, right? So instead of BLK, it's AST, and I want to change all of these AX1s to AX2s, right? AX1, AX2. And anywhere it's dataframe 1, I want to change that to dataframe 2. And dataframe 2, horizontal alignment, number of blocks. So basically, we've just copied this section, set up a different visualization or axes, AX2. We've set the formatting for that visualization for the AX2. Now, before I do a plt.show here to generate that second plot, I want to make sure that I change this to assists, get that title right. From my second axis here, I'm going to set the title number of assists. Now, when I run this, right, I get a second bar chart with number of assists by NBA team. So very, very handy here. And so another thing that I have done here, this is how we set the default style. And so if you look here in this style sheet reference from Matplotlib, take a look at the address here. If I go down here towards the middle, I'm using seaborne paper. See, so it'll default to a style that's similar to this for all these different visualizations. And so you can change up the style. All you have to do is put in the name here. So 538, if I wanted to play around with that, let me go back over here. I could change this to 538. I believe it was. And so if I run that, and so now if I come back here, you'll see I have a completely different style, right? You may like this style, you may not, but you can change it up. So let's go back to my seaborne paper. Right, we're going to run this. Then we're going to go back up here and run our main block. That gets us back here. So what's happening here is each time Matplotlib loads, it defines a runtime configuration. That's what this RC params is. And I can influence that configuration by saying, hey, clean out everything, give me the default runtime parameters, and then initiate a style that I decide, right? So we said seaborne paper. So last but not least, let's do this. We want to save a figure here. So let's do plt .savefig, and we're just going to give our figure a name, NBA blocks, or our file, I should say, NBA blocks assist.jpg, and this is going to help us with formatting as we save bblock inches equal tight, right? So now if I run this and I go look at my directory, working directory, you can see I have that file saved off. So I can take this, I can put it in a PowerPoint, I could put it in some sort of presentation, and just wow everyone with my knowledge of Python, right? So anyway, this has been Anthony Smoak. Hope you found this tip useful. If you learned something, if you like what you saw, go ahead and give me a like. Again, take this tip, get out there and do some great things with your data. Thanks for watching, everyone.